Las Vegas. Okay, then, well, I think everyone's pretty much already said everything there is to say, so I don't even know why I'm bothering to make this video. I am going to be able to watch it live, which I'm very excited about. It's another race this year that I'm able to watch live, and I know that there's a lot of people in America who are annoyed. Okay, I get it. I feel you. I too would be annoyed if there was a race happening in my country to generate interest and it was at a time that I had to get up at ungodly hours of the morning for. I don't get up at ungodly hours of the morning to watch races anymore. I just stay off the internet until 6 o'clock that night and then watch the replay on F1 TV. Streaming is great, and before streaming, there were other ways of accessing full races. So Vegas has basically been, from what I can gather, a bit of a cluster from start to finish for the locals. And I get it. I get it. That looks like a disaster. From everything that I've seen online, that is a mother effing mess, okay? But I think it won't be so bad going forwards. It's the first year, teething issues, repaving the streets is a big deal. Hey, Monaco, Singapore, they've been doing it for a long time. Monaco has been doing it for a very long time. I think my biggest gripe about it, I get, locals, you 100% you have the right to bitch as much as you effing want, okay? You go for it. You bitch about that because I get it. But my biggest gripe about it is actually just how ugly everything looks. If you look at how Melbourne is set up, they do that so quickly and so efficiently. And yes, I get it's at Albert Park, it's not in the middle of Melbourne, but it's done so quickly and so efficiently. And then everything comes down really fast as well. So it's just taken a very, very long time for them to set everything up. And I kind of understand why, because it is the first year of these organisers putting on this event. But yeah, I feel really bad for the locals. I do feel really bad for the locals. And I feel bad for any tourists who have shown up in the last couple of months to that mess because, yeah, it's pretty ugly. So I am by no means the world's best at the F1 game, partially because I play with a controller. Okay, controllers are very, very difficult to play the F1 game with, especially on street circuits. Baku, I'm pretty good at. Monaco, forget about it. I cannot make it around Monaco without crashing, no matter how slow I go. Can't do it. The same goes for this Las Vegas circuit. It is hard. And it looks like it'd be really, really easy, right? It looks like it'd be so easy when you look at it on the map. It's straight bend. It's 90-degree bends everywhere, a little bit of wiggle waggle. The problem is that all of that wiggle waggle is 2 car widths wide, right? It's so narrow. And it's I'm really, really sorry, Logan Sargent, but you're going to crash at least twice this weekend. I can feel it in my bones. Logie is not going to have a good weekend. If Logan Sargent doesn't crash this weekend, then I will do a video just about him. Now that's a big thing for me because my level of interest in Logan Sargent is so far below the floor of this house that will be a big effort for me. If Logan Sargent does not crash this weekend, then I will do a video just about him, and it will not be negative. I'm not saying it's going to be positive. It might be neutral, but it won't just be negative. All the Logan Sargent lovers out there, you can roast me in the comments all you want. You can't tell me he's had a decent rookie season, okay? You just can't. You're delusional. I'm not saying that he doesn't necessarily deserve another crack. Not. But, come on now. I don't think he deserves another crack, though. I really don't. Not when no. Look, I like Mick Schumacher. Okay, I want to see Mick back in F1. But do I think that there's not other people who deserve to have a go at it before he comes back in? Or 100%. Like, seriously, 100%. I am not biased. A reminder, I am not biased because I am a Kiwi. This guy deserves to be in a Formula One seat next year. You can't tell me that's not true. Digression. If you've done the track on the F1 game, you know this is it looks easy, but it's not. It's a difficult track, and it's going to be really, really cold. Those tires are not going to stick. They're not. It's qualifying is going to be interesting. Really, really interesting. I think that we're going to see a few people lighting up the tires coming out of a lot of corners. There's going to be a lot of lockups. There's going to be a few people who are just going to have a nice little brush of some of those walls because it's going to be slithery, mate. I don't know how many of you have driven a car on a gravel road, because there's a lot of gravel roads in this country, okay? I grew up down the end of a very, very long, valley that was gravel when we first moved there. And every year that we lived at this place, they would seal an extra kilometre of road. And the road was 11 k's long, and we lived there for 12 years. So I lived in this place for 1 year with a fully sealed road, okay? So gravel was basically what I grew up on. And to be fair, I was a kid, didn't have a driver's license myself, but I did certainly experience what it was like to drive on gravel then, and I have driven on gravel now. This is going to be like driving on a gravel road for these guys, okay? They're going to be, you're going to come around a corner, and sometimes it's just going to catch you out a little bit, and you don't know when it's going to happen, and you can just be going 1 or 2 k's too fast, and next thing you know, there's just a little bit of too much oversteer going on there, and you have to just kind of catch it a little bit. And, that's shitty pants kind of territory stuff. Every single corner in this race is going to be shitty pants territory for these guys, okay? This is... I'm not going to say it's going to be fun. I mean, if you're particularly masochistic, you might find that fun, I suppose. I could see Max finding it fun. I could maybe see Lewis finding it fun. I could see us getting another radio message where Lewis is just so bewildered that he's laughing over the radio again, because that was a particularly great moment this year at Brazil, was Lewis's little I can't believe this is happening to me moment on the radio. I think if you're particularly masochistic or like a challenge that is impossible, then this could be a fun race for some of the guys. What else have we got going on? What else have we got going on in the news? What's going on in the news today? Max Verstappen is not excited for Vegas. I think that was pretty obvious. Just like Max Verstappen does not like sprint races. I think it's pretty obvious. I don't know why that's news. If there's one thing that I can say about Max is that I appreciate his honesty. Max is one of those drivers that he's like a fungus, right? He just kind of grows on you. Remember back in 2017, 2018, I would take one look at Max and go, that guy is dead inside. And now I have to admit, I have a very large, squishy, soft spot for Max. And I'm kind of mad about it. King Charles predicted to make a shock Las Vegas Grand Prix appearance. Who gives a... So let's do 3 bonkers predictions for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Prediction number 1, I think that there will be one crash in every single qualifying session. We'll have a crash in Q1, a crash in Q2, and a crash in Q3. And I'm going to call the Q3 crash happening right at the end. So the session won't resume, some people won't get their laps in, and we're going to end up with a very, very strange selection of people at the top of the field. Bonkers prediction number 2. This is maybe not a bonkers prediction, but I genuinely think that as much as Alex and the Williams is probably going to be pretty rapid down that straight, I reckon it's going to be a double points finish for AlphaTauri this weekend, and I think they're going to overtake Williams. I I think Alex is going to get 1 point and the ATs are going to get at least 8 between them. So that would be like a 7th place and a 9th place. That would give them 8 points, wouldn't it? 7. 1, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 1, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, there we go. Alex comes 10th, Yuki's going to be in 9th. I think that Daniel will be probably 7th or above. He had a good race in Mexico, and he would have had a good race in Brazil if it hadn't been for that whole lap down fiasco. So yeah, I'm calling Danny Rick for a pretty decent result, Yuki for a pretty decent result, and they're going to overtake Williams in the points. My third bonkers prediction is that neither Red Bull will finish the race. Neither of them. Neither. And please, Chico, do not do this. Do not do this, because I want to see you succeed, and I would very much like to see you in that Red Bull at the start of next year. So please don't do this, but I think that Checo is going to crash into Max. I think they're both going to start somewhere in the midfield, and there is going to be an accident, and it's not going to end well for either car. 3 bonkers thoughts. There they are. Who's going to be on pole? Well, I'm going to say Fernando. Or maybe Lando. No, Lando, because it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Lando. Pole position for you. Top 3, just basically complete insanity. I think that this race is going to be chaos. Absolute and utter chaos. And it is going to finish with a top 3 that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. None. None whatsoever. None. No logic will be able to dictate this top 3. So I'm just going to randomize it. I'm just going to click some buttons on the internet machine here and go random, okay? Choose a random Formula 1 driver. Spin the wheel, F1 drivers and teams. Okay. 3rd place is Nico Hülkenberg. Okay, right, that's going to be, it's going to be fascinating to see how that could happen. Maybe they do a completely bonkers, 4-stop strategy and somehow make it to the end without graining the hell out of their tyres. I don't know. So 3rd place goes to Nico. But again, and 2nd place goes to Lando Norris. Happy birthday, Lando. You get another 2nd. Oh dear, that is just... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And 1st place, spinning the wheel for 1st, spinning the wheel for 1st, spinning the wheel for 1st. 1st place goes to Lance Stroll. Yeah. There we go. There's your podium. Hülkenberg, Norris and Stroll. Insanity. I'm laughing at this. You know what? Out of the three, I think the least likely to be on the podium is obviously Hülkenberg, but actually, Lance is actually pretty good in miserable conditions, and so is Lando. So as much as I am laughing at the idea of Lance being on the podium, as much as I actually kind of adore the guy, he's basically the paddock grumpy cat, okay? His facial expressions are gold. Every single time you see his face, it is doing something brilliant. Lance is actually not too shabby when it's cold and weird conditions, and actually he showed that in Brazil. So as much as the idea of him winning a race is bizarre, I mean, this is, as I said at the start, this is either going to be a completely insane race or the most boring race anyone has ever seen in their entire lives. And I don't think there's much room for nuance in that. I feel like it's going to be either one or the other. And I personally, I hope everyone is safe, obviously. Personally, I want to see that insanity. I will happily see all of my faves crash out if it means that I get to see a podium with Lance, Lando, and Hulk. What's going to happen to the Ferraris, the Mercedes, and the Red Bulls? I don't know. Something. I will happily watch the Ferraris and Max and Checo and Lewis and Daniel and Yuki. I will happily watch them take themselves out if it means that I get to see that completely bizarre podium. So, what do we got here? We've got, honestly, Hulk's best chance at getting his first podium. Lando's best chance at getting his first win. Yeah. And Lance. Come on, baby, let's do it. I believe in you. If Lance does get a podium, then I will donate $100 that I do not have to Youthline. This is me trying to screw myself over so that Lance gets a good result, okay? If Lance, if you can get yourself on the podium, I don't care how it happens, I don't care if 10 cars in front of you crash, if you can get yourself on the podium, then I will donate $100 to Youthline. For those of you who don't know what Youthline is, it's a local charity here in Aotearoa that is legitimately just a phone-in service for kids who are suffering with mental health issues, okay? So, you know, I think that's apt with Lance at the moment because it was really nice to see him smiling for the first time in I don't know how long, a couple of weeks ago. If you would like to help me, dear viewer, get $100, then click the subscribe button because the faster I get to 1,000 subscribers, the sooner I'm going to be able to monetize this channel and then maybe get some of that money back if the impossible happens. I believe in you, Lance. I do. I believe in you. Let's not kid ourselves here.